Hey there, beer tubers. Welcome back to another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. I'm Average Joe, and today I'm going to be reviewing a beer from the Bellwoods Brewery out of Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and this is their Black Roses. Super generic label. Bellwoods has a tendency to do this whenever they release a one-off that's not a part of a series or they don't anticipate rebrewing it again, but it really doesn't matter. So this is a very interesting beer. It is an Imperial Stout with roses, dates, almonds, and pistachios. A little bit more information on their website. They call this an experimental Imperial Stout, and it's actually brewed with rose water. They say roses on the label, but rose water is basically just roses steeped in water and dates, and then it is conditioned on toasted almonds and pistachios. I thought it sounded very interesting, and this beer was given to me by my buddy Sean. He actually came down a few months ago and hung out in the Western New York area, and a few days beforehand he was going to Bellwoods, and he said, "Hey, anything there that interests you?" This interests me. Very unique. I've never had any kind of beer that was brewed with roses or rose water or pistachios, and I was just like, you know what? I want to try that. I didn't know that I'd have my channel going by the time I actually got into this, but I figured I'd give it a review because I'm quite curious. Yeah, it comes in at 11% alcohol by volume, and could not find IBUs because they don't list them. Not that it matters. But yeah, so this is going to be really interesting, and I can't wait to get into it. So thanks again, Sean, for grabbing me this beer. One other thing about Bellwoods, and I guess Canadian craft beer in general, one thing that I want to do with my channel is integrate a lot of Canadian craft beer because I'm 20 minutes from the Ontario border, and I have a lot of great beer tubing friends in Canada and a lot of friends in general in Canada, and they always hook me up with great beer, so you'll see quite a few Canadian beers on my channel. Yeah, anyway, let's give this a pour and see what we got going on using the Bellwoods glass because proper glass, am I right? I looked on my Untapped friends list. This was probably like a month ago, and in all honesty, what are we going to do with this cap? I'll just put it back here. Who really cares? On my Untapped friends list, only 3 people had tried this beer, and there was mixed reviews. So I don't even remember what people said. I just remember a couple people not really caring for it, and one person liking it quite a bit. And I think that person was Greg. Greg wanted to do a duo review with me on my channel with this beer, but he's not allowed on my channel. Stay away, Greg. And no, I'm never wearing a uniform. So as you guys can see, this pours out actually beautifully. Yeah, that looks gorgeous. Black as black can be. Has about a finger of a dark brown, just, oh my God. Earth called, not, was it Earth who said, no, Eric Alliance fan said, laughed at my luscious comment, but this beer looks luscious. It has this creamy, infinitely creamy head. Wow, that's amazing. Looks like somebody melted down marshmallows. But yeah, leaving a lot of alcohol legs on the glass. It looks phenomenal. I actually smelled it as I cracked it open, and it smelled kind of weird and different, so let's get into the aroma. Actually, the dates and the rose water are really big here. Because they were brewed with the rose water and the dates, I'd imagine that was going to play more of a role than the nuttiness from like the pistachios and the toasted almonds and being conditioned on. And that is actually true in the aroma here. It's not overly floral, but it has like a potpourri kind of thing going on to it. Yeah, the dark fruit dates hit. Oh, that actually just hit right there. Yeah, dates, dark fruit. There's a huge, like, big chocolate presence to this one. Like, more of a milk chocolate, like a sweeter chocolate, too. Roasted malts. Honestly, I'm getting an ever so slight touch of the nuttiness from the almonds and the pistachios, but I would say if it wasn't on the label and I didn't know they were in there in the aroma, I wouldn't. I would honestly say I wouldn't get them at all. So on the aroma, a little bit of a letdown from the nuttiness, but it actually smells awesome. It smells like a big, rich, thick, chewy Imperial Stout, which those are some of the best beers in the world, at least for me. Anyway, enough yapping. Let's get into it. Thanks again, Sean. Cheers, everyone. First off, I want to say to Paul over at PA Brew News, this is cellar temp or whatever, it's like 67, 68. Room temp, cellar temp, whatever you want to call it. So it's actually, it's not right out of the fridge or anything. It is actually at the probably not the proper temperature. Probably wanted to drink it a little bit cooler than this, but I'm drinking at Paul's temperature. Right up front, there is a booziness to this. There is a substantial booziness. 11%, you know what? Not every single 11% beer nowadays is going to hide the alcohol, and I'm fine with that. That's the first thing I kind of get is like a fusel alcohol. It's not, when I say fusel alcohol, I don't mean it in a huge negative way. It's just the first thing I notice. After that, this is lower side of full body, so a bit thin, Paul. But it's nice. It has a slight slick component to the mouthfeel, ever so slightly chewy. Like I said, if it was full bodied, I think it'd be a little bit better, the mouthfeel and the body. But as it is, still pretty nice. The flavors in here, though, kind of muted in all honesty. The first thing I am hit is with a very huge roasted malt character. There's a bit of more of a dark chocolate, baker's chocolate, bitter chocolate in this one. Not the milk chocolate I was getting on the nose. There is a slight nuttiness on the finish, but again, I couldn't tell you if this had almonds or pistachios or any kind of nuts in it. I read it on the label, see it on the website. That's about as far as it goes. In the taste, I'm not getting a big nuttiness. I thought the rose water was going to play more of a role in the taste. It's there. I am getting this floral, like I said, potpourri kind of, it was in the nose, kind of translating into the taste a little bit. It has quite a dry finish to it. It's not overly dry, but it's pretty damn dry, actually. It might be overly dry. Yeah, big dryness starting to build up on the palate. For 11%, though, even with that fusel alcohol component, and, there's a lot of, here's the thing, there's a lot of complexity in here, but it's all very subtle. I'm getting a slight nuttiness, chocolate, roasted malt, floral component. And there's even like a little bit of like this caramel toffee thing going on. But I'm not picking up on the dates too much. There isn't this huge like dried dark fruit component or anything. It's just an easy drinking, well-balanced Imperial Stout. I get that a lot in Imperial Stouts and big beers that sometimes have, 5, 6 different ingredients. And that's kind of, how this is leaning. There's a lot of ingredients, but they're all very subtle and they're balanced. And I just like a little bit more intensity, but I can't deny that this is actually tasting pretty damn good for an Imperial Stout. So the pros on this one for me are it drinks extremely well considering the ABV. Even with that alcohol note, my palate's kind of adjusting to it and it's kind of not an issue at all anymore. The body of the mouth feels quite nice. Very easy to drink. At 11%, very easy to drink. The cons are, despite the fact that it is complex and it's quite balanced, the intensity of those 4 different ingredients they have in there, the rose water, the dates, the toasted almonds, and the pistachios, they're not coming to the forefront at all. And if you give me a beer like that has all this stuff in it and they call it an experimental Imperial Stout and it's supposed to be this huge big beer, I kind of want that. I mean, that's what I want from this. I want, everything that they list on the ingredients here. I want a little bit of it. And I want at least 1 or 2 of them to be, in your face and bold. And it's not. That said, my rating, which again doesn't matter, I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5. Why? Because it's a damn good, tasty Imperial Stout. It would creep into like the 4.25, 4.5 range if those flavors did come to the forefront a little bit more. And they were, more, as Paul would say. I don't know why I keep on referencing Paul in this review, but if they were a bit more bombastic, yeah. Anyway, yeah, that was Bellwoods Brewery, their Black Roses, and it gets a 4 out of 5 here on the Beer Patrol. Appreciate you guys stopping by for another beer review. If you guys want to like, comment, subscribe, I'm on board. But throw a comment in the comment section. Have you guys had this beer? Have you had anything from Bellwoods? What do you guys think about like these huge, I'm not going to call this a pastry stout because it really isn't, but how about these big Imperial Stouts that have 7,000 things going on? You like them? Do they usually let you down more often than not? I feel like as a whole this beer let me down a little bit today, but because it does taste good, despite the fact that I'm not getting a bunch of the ingredients that they list, I'm not too disappointed. I'm a bit let down that I didn't get, what I wanted out of this, but still a tasty beer. I'm going to finish it. I'm going to enjoy it. And in a few minutes, I'm going to go hang out on Beer Analysis 101 over at Nick, aka Maxwell Star Beer Reviews, every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He does Beer Analysis 101. Gonna give him a cheap plug here. This is actually gonna go up after this upcoming show. We're doing Young's Double Chocolate Stout, but I'm gonna mention anyway. All right, that's it. I'm out of here. Till the next one. Cheers, and thanks again, Sean. Truly do appreciate it.